Calls to order. It's 6:29 and a half. All right, so we will start with quorum and roll call. Mark?
Mark Evan.
Brisa Roberts. Kara Riley. Wilson Yellow. All right. Do the pledge of allegiance. We got a flag in this corner today. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we will get to our district update. Dr. Langley is going to tell us about our current results.
So y'all should have a copy there in front of you. And then started to get pulled up. Brief background information. Every year, the state sends out a survey to all families that have services that they're received through special education. In the past, we have not had a whole lot of responses brought back to us that we've received. So one of the things they said that we could do this year was actually turn it into like a Google form, send it out to families, ask all the same questions, get the responses back so that we got automatic feedback. Also, what we've seen is that the original version, like the state sends out, kind of hard to read and understand, and it makes you put in a whole lot of like school codes and different things, information you have to provide families that they don't understand. So for example, elementary school is building 1, high school is building 3. There's no building 2. That's a weird concept, but it's kind of confusing for families. So just making it into a Google form where I can take out all the weird codes and just say, what school does your kid go to? You know, it's a lot easier and family friendly. So just quickly going through this, just looking at some of the demographic data, we got 12 responses back. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but 12 is a lot better than 0, right? Just to be honest, and it's good feedback to have. So this is just the demographic between the responses. So mostly we were looking at most of the students or the families that are being served are under the category of autism. As far as race and demographic data, majority white. One response, making that 8.3, was a family that identified as Black. Luckily, it was 50-50 on elementary and high school. So that was kind of nice to be able to see have that correlation there. And then here's where we're really getting to what matters, the big meat of it all. It's broken down into kind of different sections and what things look like. I did not pick and choose the questions. You have everything here, so you get the good and the bad, and luckily it's mostly all good. And so that's the good news. It gives you the specific questions that were asked there. And again, I kind of labeled them at the top. So flexibility for parents. We're seeing that all families agreed or very strongly agreed that we are flexible in how we can communicate and have our meetings with families, whether that's in person, over the phone. I prefer in person, just getting to be with people, body language, Google Meets, different things like that. So really good data there. All concerns and recommendations were documented on IEPs. Only had one response where they said that they strongly disagreed with that. So that's good feedback to have, as Ms. Price would say. Parent input, again, 2 responses said that they disagreed, that I have been asked for my opinion about how well services are meeting my child's needs. One person put non-applicable, so I'm not sure if they didn't participate or something along that nature, but majority is on the positive there. So I think that's important data to know. Procedural safeguards. Teachers and administrators ensure that parents understand the rules in federal law. This is kind of a hard point. If y'all have ever had the fun of reading the law for SPED, it's great bed and want to go to sleep reading, right? So sometimes it's hard to understand, but what I've been doing is on every invite that I send to parents, used to you wouldn't actually get the information until you've already had your meeting and it was in the IEP paperwork. Well, I would want to know what the rules and the rights are before. So what I've been doing this year, and I think it's made a big difference, is every Google invite I send for an annual review, I PDF the safeguards onto the invite so that they have them before the meeting. And if there's any questions that they have, they can reach out to me. No one's asked me anything yet, but they're there in any case, and I have those in Spanish and in English.
They sign that they've received those.
They still sign in the IEP meeting that they received them, but I'm just getting them to them before the meeting versus during the meeting.
Okay, so it's there's a potential here that it was just, they didn't read what you gave them.
Yeah. Communication on IEP goals. School communicates regularly with me regarding them. Again, mostly it's all agree. We had 2 disagree. What I hate about this is it's an anonymous survey, so I can't, go back and directly get with those 2 families and figure that out. But it's something that I can dig and find out if something came from the elementary or from the high school, and I can dig a little deeper in those ways. I love this one, inclusion. The big push in Arkansas is inclusion, and we have a full inclusion model here at our district. So every single child is taught in the regular classes with supports as appropriate for the students. So I love that. Teacher collaboration. Again, this is parents' viewpoints on what they feel and see. That general education and special education teachers are working together to ensure that the IEPs are being implemented. One person strongly disagreed, but all the rest agreed. Towards the positive there. Supporting families through service connection. One of the things when I took this role that I heard from parents was that we didn't have enough outside support coming in. So for example, recently I held the Arkansas Rehabilitation Service Night that is able to get those supports to families. And so having things like that where we can get different Arkansas Support Network, Elizabeth Richardson Center, all these different community things that parents need, getting them connected through that, that's good feedback that I have had. And so as we can see, they agreed that they have been. Now we have 4 not applicable. I'm going to guess that's mostly elementary because most services don't really start until kids get into 16 for transition services. Family rights. Again, over the past year, been able to help families understand. Most of them all said yes. I really haven't had a whole lot of questions in regard here, so it seems like the knowledge is kind of based there already that they understand these things. Value of school input. I really liked this question. So as a parent, somebody saying, I value my school's input concerning my child, fairly strongly agree. I think that's a great number to know that they are listening and do value what we have to say and what we see about their students in the classroom. Parent-teacher collaboration. Again, 1 said that they did disagree, 1 non-applicable, but everyone else strongly agreed that we are collaborating, parents and teachers alike. This is an interesting question that they ask. I guess it just kind of has to do with family engagement, but the state does ask the families if they participate in the PTSA or PTA or PTO. So I just thought that was interesting information to have in case anyone here is a part of that. Most of the people disagree or not applicable, with assuming that means that they don't participate. Important things happening. These are the things that are coming up kind of based off of this data I received, but then just talking to families. 6th grade transition meetings. A lot of the times when we've talked about enrollment, we've lost kids moving from 6th grade to 7th grade across the board. That includes special education students. So I'd like to have the students and their families come have a direct meeting with me over here on campus, have them walk the campus, talk about how their IEP relates specifically to what will be happening here on campus, meet with each individual family. So I'm hoping to get that list here within the next week and start sending out invites to families. And also have them meet the 2 special education teachers here on campus currently that would be serving their minutes. Pre-K transition meetings, we're already getting invitations from the co-op to have those come in. So it's the same aspect, just transition, they're wanting to come here. It's mostly students that are going to be in kindergarten having speech services, mostly is what we see. Lottery information, I have met loads of new families over the past month, a lot of them that are going to be getting either SPED or 504 minutes and have questions. And we've been having meetings already, those transitions on what does your IEP look like? What will that look like when you transfer here? Having great conversations, and it has been nothing but positive thus far. Financial audits, I have been working with Renee and Dr. Roberts. We've been going through all of that. Our finances for SPED are looking really good this year. I mean, that's the best way I can say it. I can get more detailed in that if you would want. I didn't want to do that in this presentation because we all know how financial audits can get, but it's looking very good. We've had no issues coming back from our school year this year. Same for cycle reporting, just the general information that we have to report. as far as caseload numbers, all of that. We're in cycle 6 right now. There's a big pull for SPED in cycle 7, so I'll be working on that. And then it's annual review, and SOP means summary of performance, which is special paperwork you have to do on seniors when they are going to graduate. So it's that season right now, so lots of meetings. I had 3 IEP meetings today I had to sit in on, so that's taking up a lot of my time specifically these days. But something I'm really excited about tomorrow, SPED Strategies is coming to tour our school. And what this happens, or where this comes out of, is if you remember last year, we had from the state UDL representatives come tour the school about arts and UDL practices. Well, then earlier, about a month ago, Dr. Roberts sent me an email about a SPED grant as far as training that maybe our district could benefit from. And so I looked it over, but with artful learning and some of the other things we have going on, it would have been too much to stack on top of it. So I reached out, got that information. We decided not to move forward with that. And not even 2 days later, Robin Stripling, who is now at the co-op, but she was one of the head people of SPED over at the state, emailed me and included the director of SPED Strategies, who is the head of that grant, and said, I want to bring them to tour your school because your SPED and artful learning and UDL is so amazing. And so they're actually using us as the example for the whole program in the first place. So that was exciting to hear. And so they are touring tomorrow at both campuses. They're going to be here from 8:30 in the morning until noon. We're going to start off at the high school. Is that right? Yeah, start off at the high school, and then we will take them over to the elementary. So they're going to get to see what arts integration looks like and how that helps kids, especially the twice exceptional students who might have deficits in some areas. They're excelling in the arts, and they're really gifted in the arts, which is a special place in my heart for those kiddos. So. And this, I had to include this. This was in the email that she sent introducing me to the SPED Strategies team. Arts Academy is a special place where UDL strategies are breaking down barriers and allowing all students to show growth through inclusion. That was a direct quote from her email. And so I wanted to share that because I think I about cried. I was so excited about it. So any questions about anything? Sorry, I kind of went really quick because I know it's a lot of info.
How many, you had 12 responses, how many did it go out to?
Everyone in the district, which at the high school is going to be 47 students, and at the elementary is going to be, I can't remember right off the top of my head. It's about 60. Approximate numbers there. I apologize, I don't know it right off the top of my head.
And the state? Because normally we've had like 0.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
So this is.
So, and on it, usually it used to be the
it was
old
good data.
paper ones that they just hand out at a meeting, and you might get them back. Most parents would say, can I take it with you? And you still never got it back because then you had to mail it in. And so they just decided the better way was to have them fill it out in the Google form and do it this way. And I got direct feedback, which was the best. Yeah. So. Anything else?
Thanks, Ellen.
Thank you. Great
job.
Great job, Ellen.
Thank
All
you.
right. Now we have Amy Gillespie, who I think is now a regional person, manager, boss of something.
I think I just parent and volunteer.
Okay, great. She's going to educate us about gun safety.
Well, yeah, kind of. Do we have slides? Working on it. Okay. Well, hello. My name is Amy Gillespie. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm the mother of a 10th grader and a 7th grader here at the high school. We've been a part of the Arts Academy community since the 2017-2018 school year. And in addition to being a parent, I've also been an employee teaching the first ever Aspire class, which I think we now call career development, and working as a substitute and long-term substitute teacher here. Some of you may remember that in the fall of 2021, we had a lockdown here at the high school that was thankfully a false alarm. But that doesn't make it any less scary for those of us who were in the building at the time. And I can really remember that moment as one of my scariest moments in the classroom. I took it with me and would choose what shoes I wore based on whether I thought I could run up the stairs after that moment. So it is something that has stayed with me for a really long time. I'm here tonight to present a proactive and actionable step that our district can take to keep all of our students and our faculty safe. Not sure if the button works. Can I go to the next slide? So these are just a few of the incidents of children and teens accessing firearms that have happened in Arkansas in 2024 and 2025. There have been other incidents that didn't make the news or didn't make my list, from the student who brought his AK-47 to school to recent threats that were made on the bus. The threat of gun violence is not going away. Next slide, please. So I wanted to start tonight with some statistics. Research has shown that guns are the leading cause of death for children and teens in Arkansas. Next slide, please. And further research shows that nationally, approximately 4.6 million children live in a home with at least one firearm that is stored loaded and unlocked. The US Secret Service conducted 2 studies, and what they found was that 76% of school shooters obtained their gun from a parent or another adult who left it unsecured. And that's just common sense. Children are not able to purchase firearms. They have to get it from somewhere. So as a gun owner myself, I feel that we all have a responsibility to keep our children and our school community safe by ensuring that our children are not able to access firearms. So we feel so helpless after we see the news of yet another mass shooting, but there is something we can do. Next slide, please. We can store our firearms locked, unloaded, and with ammunition separately, ensuring that our children and their friends can't access our firearms and bring them to school. And that to me is really empowering, to feel like I thought I couldn't do something, but I actually can take this small step that can do something to prevent gun violence in my school community. The Be Smart program is a public education campaign that teaches adults how to keep kids safe when guns are in the home. SMART is an acronym that stands for Secure, Model, Ask, Recognize, and Tell. And I'm not doing the entire Be Smart presentation that our Moms in Action volunteers do tonight, but we have people available to present to PTOs and other organizations to actually facilitate sharing that message and educating our communities. Next slide, please. I think I had an animation. Thank you. So tonight I'm asking if we can annually remind our school community that we all have a role to play in keeping our schools safe. I'm asking you to commit our district to send home a notification requesting signature acknowledgement during registration that we store our firearms securely. This weekend, I emailed you a model resolution for you to review. I think you have it in front of you. And I wanted to share a little bit more information about what this might look like. Can we go to the next slide, please? Districts all across the country and states that require secure storage by law and those like Arkansas that do not have passed similar resolutions to this. In Arkansas, Little Rock was the first district to pass a resolution like this. They did it in 2022. Hopefully, Arkansas Arts Academy will be the second one in the state and the first in Northwest Arkansas. Next slide, please. So beyond passing a resolution, what does that look like? How is it implemented? And there's a lot of flexibility in that based on what our district feels is right for our community. I put a few examples up here of what that might look like. Most provide information at the beginning of every school year with all of your registration packets. You would get a form that says, hey, this is a thing we want you to be aware of. Be Smart for Kids will co-brand printed informational materials at no cost to our district that we can include. I've given you a little flyer there, but they'll actually put our logo on that at no cost to distribute. Districts across the country, like I said, they do this in different ways. So they might publish secure storage information on their website. They might put it in their school safety plans. They might send home information in a newsletter annually, or if there's an event, something occurs that warrants it, a national event or a local event, they might send just like, hey, just a reminder, this is how we are keeping our communities safe. And in Dallas, they actually included in the student handbook in Dallas Public Schools. So to me, this is something that would really help calm families and give us a little bit of peace of mind in a moment of fear to say, you know what, in our district, we are being proactive, we're taking this seriously. Next slide, please. So Be Smart is a 501c3 public education program of Everytown for Gun Safety Support Fund. It is nonpartisan, it is apolitical. Partners across the country include the Injury Free Coalition for Kids, the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement, the National PTA, the Presbyterian Church, YMCA, numerous hospitals, state departments of health, and chapters of the American Academy of Pediatrics. They really like it, from Alaska to Tennessee, Louisiana, New Hampshire, and more, and school districts, including Oklahoma City schools. All right, last slide. I am happy to answer any questions you might have, and I ask you to pass this resolution tonight.
What would it look like in the student handbook? Like, what would the verbiage be for that?
Can you go back to that slide that has Dallas's on it? It's about 3 back. This is how Dallas has it. It's in their student handbook with the suicide awareness and mental health support, because Be Smart can actually really help with that and talk about school shootings, but it's really a suicide prevention plan as well. And they include it in there, and it has a parent or guardian signature.
I think we would administration to write or review. If that's something they want in their handbook.
Yeah, that would be.
Feels like a,
It would be in addition to the handbook, so.
I feel like that would need to come from you if that was something that.
Does anyone have opinions on whether?
I think
that's
that,
appropriate?
I mean, the handbook is a great option, but I think there are several options that were presented here. I think we would probably need to discuss it, think about it a little bit more in terms of how and if we would like to present it to our student body population and their parents. I'm not ready to make a decision, but you guys.
No, I'm not ready to make a decision. I think you made some good points. I mean, just in full transparency, thinking about this over the last week, is this something that schools get into, right? Like where do we stop when we're adding things to our handbook, right? And I'm not saying this doesn't belong there. It may very well, I mean, I think it's a discussion about whether it does. But I think especially when you start taking stuff like groups outside of our school, not to say that there shouldn't be a paragraph or something in there. I don't know what all the ideas are. Is there a reason, or do you know, you specifically called out that there's only one school district in the state of Arkansas that has anything like this? Is it in their handbook? Is that what they've done?
You know
The
what,
Little Rock
I'm not
district?
entirely sure what Little Rock has
I
done.
think it is in their handbook.
Do you know? It's in their
I'm
handbook?
pretty sure it is.
Is there a reason why there's only one in the state of Arkansas?
We've approached some other schools, I'm sorry.
No, Casey's actually the leader of our Moms Demand Action chapter here, so she knows exactly what's been going on. I work in Virginia and Massachusetts and West Virginia now, so.
You can come on up.
Oh,
You're like, never
it's
mind.
very short, I think the reasons that you could imagine why they wouldn't be already in the school handbook, or schools wouldn't want to adopt something like this, kind of lends to the fact that we're a very conservative state. And it can make people feel anxious about their guns. And I've had a safety official in another school say that, you can't legislate you can't legislate evil out of people, which is that's not what the Be Smart program is doing. But I think people sometimes associate it with that, where it's not that at all. It's an educational component, and it's just trying to make families, homes, and schools safer through secure storage. But
My first thought is something like this, especially if we see this packet, like if this is something that our administrators or us as a board, just like this could be on a table, right, at open house, or this could be a little bit like we're presenting, there's probably college brochures, right, that are sitting out. There's probably health brochures about about vaccinations rate, whether or not your family thinks it's best for your child to be vaccinated. Here's the information about it. So I could see where we might do something like that. I think it's a little bit of a different level putting it in a handbook. I'm not necessarily opposed to it. I just am not sure. I'm not sure.
Probably on the other end of the spectrum. I really like this resolution.
Okay.
I think that, sure, more discussion about the execution. What does that look like? Whether
Sure.
that's in the handbook or not, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But to me, this is just educational.
Yes.
That's all it is. And if this resolution stopped one incident, it doesn't matter how all that other components, does that make sense?
Yeah,
So,
I don't
also
have
not-
any problem with it being, presenting this to our families, or if you feel like this is something, I think there's probably several different things that fall under this informational piece that we're doing. And I can't speak to it. I don't know, what do we hand out, right? I think that might be a bigger discussion with our administrative team, right? Because we are passing on information, all kinds of information in those packets. The first of this school year, we got a whole example packet of all the stuff that was going to our high school kids. And so if this is something that you want to put in there, I think that's a good idea and really more up to you. I don't know that it necessarily needs to be in that handbook, but also I think that needs to come from you guys as a change to the handbook if it's something that the whole community feels strongly about.
I defer on the handbook too. Like, I feel like that's a decision made as a group, but I like what I heard about the resolution going home at the beginning of the year and a parent signing it. Because I know that packet can become white noise.
Mhm.
And I like that, they're committing to be part of the resolution, and they may choose not to, right? But again, I don't know, execution, I think maybe requires more discussion, to your point.
Yeah.
But I like this resolution, and I think it's educational and it can't hurt.
Do you have data? And I know it would be hard to track, but let's say if it was executed in, let's say, Little Rock, and their data before this went out, and then did the gun violence amongst children change? And is there any way that you're able to measure its effectiveness so it can be?
Can I get back with you? I'll have to do a little bit of research. I don't have anything on Little Rock specifically.
Or Oklahoma City or any of the?
Right. And a lot of the research that we do is really based on laws. Like, I think I could pull the laws on that really easily for you, but the school district resolutions are not as public. They're not as made like in the news. There are states that have laws that require secure storage. And in those states, many of them have laws that require school boards to tell their student communities about secure storage and the law. We don't have one of those laws here in Arkansas, but that doesn't mean that we can't still share some information.
One of the most effective things I think we could do is set up a table again and give out free gun locks. I feel like that has really good visibility. And, I don't feel like, as a parent, I heard much during Suicide Prevention Month. I don't know what the kids were presented with during September, but I definitely think this could be worked into Suicide Prevention Month as a, like emails to parents, that kind of thing.
Suicide Prevention Month is September.
It's September, yeah. So I would advocate for, kind of making a plan for the beginning of school to pass these out, give out free gun locks, and then, work in some activities around gun safety into Suicide Prevention Month. The kids and the parents, because I really don't know what the kids did this last year, but I think it would be good to reach out to the parents and, offer educational materials, offer gun locks, that sort of thing. So,
To be clear, this program is aimed exclusively at adults and not at students or children. So this is teaching adults what to do to keep children safe when there's a gun in the home of a relative.
well, we do have some legal adults at the high school campus.
That's true.
In the senior class. So, I think 16 and up in this state is reasonable to hear about this stuff.
All right, thanks, Amy. Appreciate your time.
One more thing, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Just the, what, as a parent of a 15-year-old, I love what this program does as it normalizes conversations about gun safety. Like when my daughter was going to sleepovers for the first time, I would say, you know, is there going to be alcohol in the home? Do you have a gun in the home? Is it going to be secured? As my daughter gets older and, you know, they get more curious, I just really value just normalizing that conversation with people. And for the school to kind of take the lead in that seems really smart and important. And I appreciate all y'all hearing this and considering it.
We appreciate you.
All righty, we have the elementary school update.
Good evening. I am here to share our elementary teacher of the month. And I was writing down, thinking about this teacher, how would I describe her? She's an invaluable member of our staff. She is a go-getter, a positive person, and solution-oriented. She's my what-if person. If you know me, I'm a verbal processor, so I go to this person a lot of times and say, well, what if we tried this? Or what if we did that? And she graciously listens to me and takes it in, and then tells me her feedback, which I appreciate all the time. I want to also share what our staff had to say about her. She was nominated 2 times, so this is 2 different staff members. Karen Armstrong is always stepping up and helping wherever there may be a need. She does her job and then goes above to help others with theirs, duties and challenging students, etc. The start of the year is challenging, and without Karen, we couldn't have gotten all kinders home safely. She did this the first half of the year for any K-3 class in need. She is beyond detailed and very organized. She gives her all for her students. She is literally gold, and I want to be her when I grow up. She's so caring and patient with all of her dyslexia students. One of my students got changed to another group, and she walked the student to the new teacher and introduced them. She went out of her way to help everyone feel safe and taken care of. So our teacher of the month this month is Karen Armstrong, who cannot be here with us this evening. Thank you.
Down. So our teacher of the month is Miss Rebecca Cannon. Rebecca, if you'll come on up. So as Rebecca makes her way up, I think the quote about Rebecca that's the best was this one, where a staff member said, Rebecca is the very definition of the word professional. And so I think that is true of her. I don't know how much you guys know about our dance program. I know you guys know a lot, but as you know, community members, this is a special thing that we have. This is not something that happens in schools all over Northwest Arkansas, to have a dance program with a professional dance instructor like Rebecca Cannon. And she gives her dancers opportunities to showcase their skills and their talents in venues that are not normal, in professional venues. For example, at the this coming month in May, she's going to perform, her students are going to perform with Nimbus Dance over at the Walton Arts Center. And so this is a kind of a professional dance company that does things like this community engagement all over the nation. And so we're very excited for our kids to have those opportunities. She has students that go to prestigious dance schools from here, and she has had a career not only of professional dance for herself, but also teaching professionals, future professional dancers. And so we're very proud to present Rebecca Cannon as our teacher of the month at the high school.
In the middle. Oh, you get right here. I'll be on the
On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. Congratulations.
We also have a student presentation. Emma, if you'll make your way up.
So we have a student, Emma Gastineau, that this past month was both nominated and presented as one of our Northwest Arkansas Academic All-Stars. And so we're extremely proud of Emma. Emma is one of our visual artists here at the high school. She does both 2D and 3D arts. And so as you know, she's in AP art, she's in ceramics, kind of does all the things, visual arts. What I love most about Emma is that she is a servant leader. We can ask things of her and she always shows up. And I'm very, very proud of the young lady that she is. So super excited to present Emma Gastineau with a certificate. As well. So, y'all want to come around her? Yes. It's not a big deal.
Remember, all of us, all of you.
Yeah, just jump in here.
Did you already get your congratulations?
All right, on three. 1, 2, 3.
Congratulations, Emma.
We'll let y'all get a picture this way and then we'll go out and we'll take a few more. Okay, cool. Does that work? You'll just get a picture with us.
All right.
All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Again. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations.
Dr. Roberts, you want to go through our personnel changes and enrollments?
Our staff changes are, we have a substitute in for Miss Fry, who delivered her healthy baby boy over break, and he's gorgeous. Our enrollment is looking very good as we continue to push towards August. So we are back in the thousands, which is really great. We are really seeing a bubble come up from elementary into our 7th and 8th grade class, and even a little bit into our 9th grade. So we are almost at capacity at elementary, and we are really looking great for our middle school and 9th grade. We've got openings in 10, 11, 12, but that is to be expected until this bubble continues to rise up. And what else was that? That's it.
So will we fill some of those, can we fill some of those 211 classes with homeschool students?
Hopefully.
At least the arts classes?
So Adrienne brought up a really good point. So we got approved yesterday for the EFA as a vendor. And so what that looks like is anyone that qualifies for the voucher, that applies to Department of Education, qualifies for the voucher. They have a whole list of vendors. And the
This is an amazing feat.
it really is.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And I told the principal, I said, you know, I'm gonna do this and I anticipate it's gonna take a little bit, like going back and forth. And we were approved really quickly. And so basically what I did was I uploaded our course catalog. And because really anything that we offer, we can include homeschool families into if they choose to. So we're really excited to see what that looks like. The Department of Ed is still kind of promulgating rules and what all the details that they'll have figured out before August, but the vouchers work through, parents apply and they get a certain amount of money, which is the average daily rate, into what they call a class wallet. It's like a digital account, and then they apply and they seek out opportunities for their students in however they choose. And so I'm really excited that we have the potential to include some of those families in our school.
Are we ready for any comments from the public?
No? Anybody here? Okay. All right, let's move on to the consent agenda. We need to approve our March minutes. Does anyone have any questions, concerns, or additions to the March minutes? No? All right, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Anybody opposed? Thank you. All right, and we need to probably approve the financials. Adrian, do you have anything to tell us?
So, and if we have questions, we can look off Dr. Roberts' copy because I left mine marked up on the counter. Do you guys have any questions?
Okay. All right, so can I get a motion to approve?
Motion.
I'll second.
So she'll do first. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you. All right, do we have any new business?
No, we do not. We just have what's on the agenda.
All right, so we are going to talk about our employee handbook edition, which circles around attendance and punctuality and clocking in and clocking out. So I have had the opportunity to read over this. Does everyone else have a moment? Okay, do we have any concerns, questions, additions, subtractions?
Is this the first time they're gonna be talking?
So the way our time clock plus system was working was we could set a radius around the school site for that to happen. So it would let our bus drivers just come to the vicinity of our campus and they could clock in. So what we've done is reduce that radius to include inside the building. And that just makes it a lot more visible and accountable, and it's still the same system. They just have to come inside.
Concerns? No? Okay. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Okay, do we have executive session?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I believe we just need a motion to adjourn. So move.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? All right. Have a great night. Second. Adrian.